Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our webinar on creating an outstanding entry for the 2020 BBB Torch Awards. We're very glad to have everyone here today. My name is Candice Erickson. I'm the Programs and Events Manager for your BBB. Before we get started in earnest, we have a little technical housekeeping. You should have already joined this session muted. Please remain on mute for most of the presentation so that we have as little background noise as possible. This is because we are recording this webinar. We want to make it available to everyone who was not able to attend, and we want the audio to be as good as possible. If you have a question during the presentation, please use the chat function to submit a question. I have a coworker with me, Emily Gaines. She'll be checking the chat throughout the webinar to make sure that I don't miss anything. We'll also have opportunities to pause and check in with questions. And if you don't feel comfortable using the chat, at the end of the presentation, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions and you can use the audio at that time. But again, just to minimize background noise, please stay on mute. And if you need to come off, I would prefer that it would be at the end of the webinar. All right, moving on, let's get started. We always like to start our webinars with an overview of what we'll be covering. In today's presentation, you're going to learn all about BBB Torch Awards, who's eligible to enter, how to craft an outstanding entry, and we'll be providing tips and resources to you to make the process as easy as possible for you guys. I do want to say that we are currently accepting entries. Entries are open, and the deadline to enter is midnight on Friday, August 14th. BBB recently extended our deadline due to high interest in the awards and the fact that many businesses are dealing with very unique and unexpected challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. We want everyone who wants to enter to have the time and space they need to enter, so we went ahead and extended that deadline. August 14th is not that far away, and it certainly seems like every time I blink, a week has passed, but in the time between now and August 14th, there is absolutely time to put together an outstanding entry, particularly using the information that you're going to get from this presentation. August 14th is a hard deadline. We have extended it, but we won't be extending it again. Unless you have real technical difficulties or there's a situation related to our entry platform where you're just unable to enter a complete entry, we won't be accepting late entries due to just missing the deadline. So put this on your calendars and please do your best to make sure that you're able to enter either on or before the deadline. So about BBB Torch Awards, why do we have them? The reason why is because BBB's mission is to create an ethical marketplace where buyers and sellers can trust each other. And one of the ways that we do this is by recognizing marketplace role models with our annual Torch Awards. But to really answer the question, I'd like to show you a video of some of our winners from last year talking about what winning a Torch Award meant to them. I apologize, it looks like it stopped.
You want people to walk away not just appreciating what they received in a service or a product. You want them walking away going, I'm thankful that I have a friend in my life, like Pentavia.
I have one of those jobs that I don't dread going to because I have a great team to go to work with. We set ourselves up that we can be integrable and accountable with one another, with our clients, and I think that that's kind of where we start. With our integrity is, not only our individual values, but the fact that we put those on paper and we promote those and we continue to try and improve those.
Yeah, winning the Torch Award is a very humbling thing. I don't think anybody really sets out to go, I'm going to go win the Torch Award. To me, I think it's more of a validation of what we've been doing, that our processes and our desires and meeting the needs of our customers and meeting the needs of our employees, our desire to meet the needs of the greater whole, the community, becomes a greater emphasis. And this just celebrates that moment.
All right, that was Pentavia Custom Homes, our winner from last year. And we have more videos about our previous year's winners if you'd like to meet more businesses learn more about their journeys in ethical business practices and applying and what it meant to them. So that's how it feels to win. It feels like a recognition that you're doing the right thing. But there are also other tangible benefits, which we'll go over now. My favorite benefit is the very beautiful BBB Torch Award trophy. And you also get a certificate, which you can display in your offices, which will certainly be a little bit more useful when we get foot traffic back. Along with the physical trophy, you will also get a digital BBB Torch Award seal for your website, and you can use that on your website or advertising and other materials, and you can use it for as long as you maintain a B rating with BBB. Beyond that, winners also receive recognition on bbb.org. They receive promotion on BBB social media channels, news releases, promotional materials, Trust Talk Magazine, other avenues like that. Your company will also be listed on the BBB Torch Award winner page for the lifetime of your company and for as long as you maintain a B rating. And again, that is lifetime listing on the Torch Award winners page and lifetime use of the BBB Torch Award seal. So long-lasting benefits on that. A brief word on the situation with COVID-19. Typically, Torch Award winners have enjoyed an in-person Torch Award trophy presentation by BBB staff, where we hosted you at a luncheon or came to your offices to celebrate your win with you. During the presentation, BBB would shoot professional quality videos and photos for use for you as a winner. Currently, our goal is to be able to safely deliver those same valuable benefits to all of our 2020 winners. So between now and when we announce our winners, we're going to be monitoring the news and best practices, and we will share with our winners the details of what kind of presentation or event is possible. And we appreciate your understanding. It's very difficult to be able to predict the future right now, but we know that this is an important benefit, and it's one that we really enjoy ourselves as well. Our BBB recognizes that there is a really big difference between a company with 9 employees and a company with 25 employees. So we don't categorize our businesses into small, medium, and large. We instead categorize them by the number of employees at 6 different scales: 1 to 10 employees, 11 to 20 employees, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 99, and 100 plus. This means that you'll be competing with businesses that are truly same size, same level as your organization. So I think that this is a real opportunity if you've ever entered into another award system where a small company was anywhere from 2 people to 25 people. And this really means that you'll be with people of your same business stature. Awards will be given out for each category size with a qualifying winner. So how do we determine a winner? We do so with 6 criteria. These are based on BBB's core values: excellence, integrity, teamwork, trust, respect, and then community involvement. Each of these categories, these criteria, they have a maximum value of 10 points. And then when you combine them all for a grand total, the maximum score that you could receive on an entry is 60 points. So with that in mind, you really want to make sure that you don't leave any of these criteria behind. If there is something that you feel you aren't able to answer, see if there's another way to reframe the question or to restate your purpose. We really don't want to leave any points behind. And to get a little bit further into what each of these criteria mean, when we say excellence, we mean what makes your organization stand out, rise above the rest. What sort of passion and leadership do you show for your work? And for integrity, we're really asking, how are you living your values and keeping your promises? For teamwork, this is a place where you can share the ways that you support your employees, empower them, hold them accountable, bring them together. The criteria about trust, this is really about how does trust help your business be better? And that trust can be between you and your employees, you and your customers, or you and your business partners. The respect criteria is a chance for you to brag on yourself a little bit and share reviews or awards or accolades, things that show that you're at the top of your game, that you are receiving recognition. And you can also talk here about how you acknowledge your staff. If most of the awards that you've received are things that you're giving out to your employees, you can absolutely include that here. With community involvement, your choice, this is your chance rather, to give examples of how your business makes efforts to connect with the community, give back. Things like events, volunteering, sponsorships, other ways to give back. Before I move on, I did want to see if there were any questions. And I don't believe that there have been. So I will go ahead and move on. In a moment, I'll talk about who can enter, the kind of detailed eligibility requirements. But before we move on to that, I wanted to address something a bit less obvious, which is that you may feel that your business is good, but you're not there yet. And I really want to say that you should trust in your commitment to ethical practices and go ahead and enter, because that's the only way that you can find out if you can win. There are also benefits to applying even if you don't win, because you're going to be organizing your thoughts on each of these criteria and taking stock of what you do, and you may realize there are opportunities you haven't yet capitalized on, things that you're not yet doing but want to do. And you can rededicate yourself to the values that will help you lead the way in ethical business practices. So when in doubt, just go ahead and enter. I think that's the right way to move forward. There are some eligibility requirements to meet, however, and the first one is that you must be headquartered in the 105 county service area of BBB, serving the heart of Texas. There is a map up on screen showing that service area, but if you have any questions or concerns about where you're located within our service area, just go ahead and reach out and we'll double check and make sure that everything's squared away. You also must have been in business for 3 years or more, and you have to maintain a B rating or higher with BBB. We also ask that if you have previously won a torch award in the past 3 years, that you wait until that third year to enter. And let me double check that there's, oh, and that's it. Their BBB accreditation is not a requirement. In fact, last year we were pleased to have our first non-accredited winner in the BBB Torch Awards, so it's not a barrier. If you have ethical practices, if you are a leader in ethical practices, you can win the Torch Awards. Many of you on the call today are accredited, but if you know of a business and you don't mind the competition, if you know of a business that is not accredited but is Torch Award material, please encourage them to enter. We'd be happy to have them. Are there any questions about the eligibility requirements before I move on? Does not seem so, so I will move on. So let's move on to how to enter. This is, I think, really why most of you are here. And the good news is, considering the pandemic, the entry process and the judging process is all digital. So you won't have to send anything in or mail anything in. You will enter online. And I'm going to go ahead and just show you a short version of our entry form so that you can see the whole process and understand what each question is asking. So hopefully you should see an entry form. Emily, could you confirm that the entry form is on screen and not the presentation?
I still have the presentation.
Okay, let's share a different screen and we will get there. How about now, Emily? Do you see the entry form?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Okay. What you see on screen is the landing page of our entry form. This is not what you will see when you go to us.bbb.org/sentex-torch. That entry form will actually be embedded on the page. It'll be at the bottom. But I can also send you a direct link to the entry form if you prefer. Just get in touch if you're not able to access it. The entry form starts off with a short video including some tips and some guidelines on how to enter. This is a good resource, a good reminder for you. At this point, this webinar is going to be a little bit more in-depth and a little bit more detailed, but it's a good place to start. That video is also available on our Torch Award website. So we start off with a reminder about our eligibility requirements. We also ask people to accept certain terms and conditions upon entering. And you do have to click I accept in order to move forward. And then here we are. We are now into the entry form, and I'll be skipping most of these, so you won't have to see my imaginary company, but we will ask for your business's legal name. This helps us find your business within our files. We'll also ask for your entity status. We'll also be asking, when did you open for business, in order to confirm that you meet that minimum 3 years in business. The industry is just for our curiosity. This answer won't be shared with the judges. It'll just be for our review. However, obviously in the course of describing your business practices, the judges will get to know a little bit about the industry that you're in. And then you self-select your category size. We also ask if you're an accredited business, mostly so that we can find out if a non-accredited business would like to be contacted about becoming accredited. If you have a website, share it. If you don't have a website, don't worry about it. You can just go ahead and hit enter, as I've been doing, to skip these questions. We will be asking for a mailing address and confirming that mailing address. Please include your zip code. We'll ask for who is submitting the entry in order to be able to know who to contact with good news. And we'll try and find out if they are the president or CEO. And I'll go ahead and say that, yes, I am the CEO of this imaginary company. We'll be asking for an email address and phone number so that we can reach out to you with questions or good news. For this question, this is again for BBB reference and won't be shared with the judges. So you can prefer not to answer, or you can hit this button and submit something that is not represented in the list of choices. Or just to select all that applies. The next step in this entry form is to ask for references. This is not a necessary step. It is a necessary step to provide the references, but BBB may not reach out to those references to learn more about your business. This is more of an opportunity for us to learn more about you if we have questions that arise from your entry. So whoever you enter as your reference should not necessarily expect a call. They should just be prepared to respond to a call. We'll ask for their first and last name and their email address. And we will be asking for 3 references. You can submit more if you like, but again, we may not be reaching out to them. So that would be the reference section of your entry. After the reference section, we move on to the real meat of the entry, and that is the written portion and the supporting documents. And so I'm going to show you just a sample of what that would look like, and then move back onto the presentation and talk a little bit more about that. So you'll have the opportunity to upload your entry or type in your entry. I would recommend you upload your entry with a Word document or word process document, and mostly because, and I'll show you here, if you type in your entry, you may not have any type of spell check. So you could make a grammatical mistake, you might miss a misspelling, and you'll have to cut and paste back and forth to whatever you would use to spell check. And you'll have to you'll have to copy whatever you write onto a separate document, because you won't be getting a copy of your entry at the end of the entry process. One is generated and you can ask for it, but one is not automatically sent. So if you just do the stream of consciousness, you might forget what you said. So I'll go ahead and move on. So this is, again, a shorter example. In the actual entry, you would have moved on to the different criteria from excellence over to integrity, trust, etc. Instead, we've gone straight from one written portion to the supporting documents. So in this case, the supporting documents, you must upload it. You would click here on this cloud button, select an item from your computer and upload it. I again recommend that you do this in a single document, mostly to prevent you from having to upload 25 individual documents if that's as many as you have. And it also makes it a little easier to group it all together. And after this, once you've submitted all your documents, you would be moving on into the submitting phase. You would get a confirmation email, and the next you would hear from us would be after the judging. So I'm gonna go back to our presentation now that I've shown you that. And we will move on if there are no questions about the entry form. There will be some additional details about how to do an outstanding entry. Okay. When it comes to the written portion, what we're really looking for is that it answers the criteria questions. We have a worksheet on our website, and I will go ahead and take us to that website and show you where you can download it, which does mean I will have to share a different screen again. Here it is. So what you should be seeing now is our torture ward entry criteria page. This is where all of the details about the torture ward entry can be reviewed and downloaded. And if you scroll down, you'll see 2020 torture ward worksheet. And this is the example. This worksheet basically breaks down each question related to each criteria and gives you the opportunity to write 2 to 4 sentences to help clarify your thoughts, help make sure that you've ticked all the boxes, and you can stitch them together in a paragraph, or you can just have the question and answers. Judges will receive written portions in a variety of formats, including letters, short answers, longer answers. We just ask that each written portion section for each criteria is no more than 1 page typed. So if you're not a confident writer, that's fine. What we want to make sure is, again, that the judges have everything that they need to mark that you've met the criteria.
Candice, before you move on much further, we have a question asking if you can save your entry partway through and then come back to it.
Yes, so I'll be covering that soon, but I'll go ahead and answer it now. And this entry form is meant to be done in 1 sitting. You cannot save and return. And so that's why we suggest that you have your entry ready to go when you sit down. It doesn't take very long when you do it that way. So you can be done in 15 or 20 minutes. So yeah, that's a good question. That also means that there's no login information that you can have to put in and lose. It's a trade-off. You get the opportunity to do it quickly versus the opportunity to come back. But yes, that's a good question, and it's one that I'll cover some more tips about how to make it easy on you. So that was the worksheet. You can find it on our website. If you would like me to send it to you, I am more than happy to do that. You'll have my contact information at the end of this presentation, and you should have also received an email from me earlier today. So let's go back to our presentation where we were talking about the worksheet and talk a little bit more about the purpose of the written entry. Every year, we have independent judges from the community review your entries. These are maybe professors or lecturers on business topics. They may be retired business owners or community members. They understand business. They may not understand everything about the roofing industry or everything about being a car dealership, but they understand the basics, let's say. So this is an opportunity really to show what's different about your organization and who you are. You want them to understand you, but you don't need them to be experts on your chosen field. We also would prefer that you be concise rather than filling up a whole page typed just because that's the maximum allowed. The judges are going to have to read a lot of entries, and if they're reading the same 4 points over and over again in your written portion, that is more likely to feel like it's a padded entry versus a high quality entry. In the case of your written entry, it's really quality over quantity. Again, say what it is that stands out about your business, about what you do different, and your philosophy, who you are behind your business, more so than describing each step of your training process, let's say. Let's see. So hopefully it's fairly self-explanatory, or hopefully you understand how it is that you would enter, but maybe what we need to talk about now is how do you stand out? How do you make your entry rise to the top of your category? And that answer really lies in supporting documents. So you have your first part of the entry, which is your written portion, the essay portion of the contest, let's say. And then you have supporting documents, and those illustrate your written portion. They can be letters, reviews, pictures, flyers, awards, training materials, newsletters, messages to your staff, things of that nature. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see supporting documents that were submitted by John Wayne's Service Company. We asked them to be able to share some of their supporting documents because This company has won the Torch Awards twice, in 2016 and 2019. They are also 2017 International Torch Awards winners. You can enter the BBB International Torch Awards for ethics after you've won the local program. So if you are one of our winners this year, in 2021, you can submit yourself for an International Torch Awards, and we highly encourage you to do so. What is noticeable about John Wayne's supporting documents is the organization. As you can see, it very clearly identifies that these are supporting documents meant to illustrate teamwork. And each of the pictures has an explanation. The top is for team building and training. The bottom is for holiday potlucks and events. It says a lot. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and it shows a lot of personality. It shows who these people are and what kind of culture they have. So this was just a really good example to share with you. And then I have some more examples over here. On the left hand, integrity. On the right, excellence. For the integrity supporting documents, they provided copies of their reviews. This is absolutely something that the judges would find interesting to review. We don't encourage them to do any outside research. We encourage them to take your entry and judge it based on what's been submitted. So if there's something that you want them to know, put it in the supporting document so that they can review it. On the right-hand side, you see that they didn't just list the entries or the awards that they received. They showed pictures of them receiving the awards or a picture of the award itself. It's just a very engaging way for the judge to learn more about the company. I do also want to say that if you have a video that you would like to share with the judges, you can do so, but we're asking that you not submit it as a file. One, it's very large. Two, each of our judges has a different computer system. So what we've asked is that if you want to submit a video, please do so by submitting a link to YouTube. That will give the maximum accessibility to our judges possible. And please be respectful of their time. If you are lucky enough to have had a 30-minute documentary made about you, or if you are maybe were a speaker at an event and did a 30-minute talk, we would prefer that the judge not feel obligated to sit through that entire video. So if you could maybe provide a clip or a shortened version, 5 minutes and below would really be the best use of our judges' time. We did have one business in our previous webinar feel a little intimidated by the presentation. John Wayne, again, a 2-time winner and an International Torch Award winner as well. These are some of the best examples that we have to share with you. The main thing that I would hope that you would take away from this is that organization and clarity really helps the judges. If they receive 25 pictures, but they don't know what the pictures are illustrating or what the pictures are referring to, it's harder for them to say, this company excels in the integrity criteria. It's a little easier for them to draw the parallels and to answer their questions on their judging forms when they know this type of organization. And so I really want to stress that while this is a beautiful presentation, the presentation that you provide can be a little less polished or a little plainer, as long as it provides that same sense of organization and clarity. And as a reminder, each business is limited to 25 pages of supporting documents, so maximize the real estate. Rather than doing just one picture, you could do a collage, as John Wayne has done, where you can fit 6 pictures, as opposed to just sacrificing 6 of your supporting documents by going each individual picture. Do we have any questions before we move on? Great, okay. We are in the tips section. So this is where, again, I'll say that be prepared to finish your entry in one sitting. It would really be a good idea to have a list of the documents you want to upload and a copy of your written portion already written out, so that when you sit down, you're able to upload. If you have any technical difficulties with your entry, my contact information is about to follow this slide, so reach out. We'll see what we can do to help and troubleshoot that for you. But hopefully, you won't encounter too many issues. We haven't had too many issues arise. Keep a copy. If you choose to type in your responses, save a copy of your answers. And consider uploading all of your supporting documents as a single PDF or a single zip file. It just makes it a little easier and less time consuming on your end, and also helps us on our end make sure that we haven't lost any documents because there's just one document all put together. And again, if you use video, please submit it in the form of a link rather than uploading a video through the entry form. We don't have any restrictions on file type. We just ask that you use commonly used file types with an emphasis on those that work well on Windows or with Microsoft Office Suite, since those tend to be the most common things that judges will be using to review your supporting documents. This is my contact information. That is my email. That is my phone number that will reach me directly, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have that you would prefer to ask privately. Or if you would like to receive coaching on your entry, you can also use that contact information. And the reason why is because BBB provides these entries to our independent judges. We don't have any say in who the judges choose as winners, so we can't influence the results once they're in the judge's hands. What we can do is help you submit the best possible entry that you can, because we have a lot of experience and a lot of know-how. So I highly recommend that if you still feel a little overwhelmed, that you reach out to me and give me a chance to help you talk through your questions. And if you have any questions now, let's go ahead and answer them. Let's see. PDF files are okay. As far as a list of the judges, we haven't finalized that. We have our candidates selected. We're still waiting to find out if we can get a judge in San Antonio. The judges generally are shared with at the announcement phase. I can say that all of our judges are being chosen in a way to make sure that every region is recognized. So it's not going to be just a panel of Austin judges. It's going to be judges from Austin, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Permian Basin, Midland, Odessa, the coastal region with Corpus Christi and Victoria, and as well Harker Heights, Killeen, and Waco. So we'll have judges representing each of those large regions. So hopefully that helps you to feel a little bit more confident that this is judges who are really representative of the whole region that BBB covers. Are there any other questions that have popped up? I don't believe so. This would be a great time to pop on audio or video if you would prefer not to have to figure out the chat box. Well, in the absence of any questions, and to get you guys back to your days, I'm going to remind you guys that BBB has award-winning social media platforms. If you win, your business is going to be promoted on these social media channels, so you should follow now. We engage with our ABs every day, and we're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. Come and join the conversation. And I'm gonna put my contact information up once again. You can reach me at programs@austin.bbb.org or ceerickson@austin.bbb.org. Both of those emails come directly to me, so I'll be able to answer any questions that you have, and that is my direct line. And again, if you don't feel confident with your entry, or you have questions about where you can improve or where you could submit other information, go ahead and reach out, because I want to make sure that everyone who wants to enter is able to enter and feels confident about it.
Candice, did you answer the question about how many awards are given out?
Oh, yes. So we have 6 awards for 6 categories. And if we receive qualifying winners in every category, we'll give out 6 awards. This year, however, we are going to introduce finalists, so that the businesses who are very close to the top, who are very close to winning, have the ability to be recognized. I cannot say how many finalists there will be in each category, because that will depend on the number of strong entries. And so I'm not able to say that we'll have 10 finalists in each category. That will really be up to each category shaking out as far as the type and quality of entries. So yeah, 6 Torch Awards will be handed out to 6 winners, but we will be recognizing finalists this year as a way of recognizing that we received so many amazing entries that choosing just 6 is actually quite a difficult task.
And can you remind everyone what our social account handles are?
Oh yes, it is almost always going to be at Central Texas BBB. So that will be for Twitter. You'll also be able to look for Central Texas BBB on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have regional Facebooks as well. So if you search for BBB Fort Worth, you will receive local updates from your regional director, and it would be the same for any of our other regions. So, and you can find archived webinars on bbb.org with a calendar of upcoming events as well. So please don't be a stranger. We hope to hear from you. All right, unless there are any other questions coming up, then I am going to go ahead and get you guys back to your busy day. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.